You would like to ask a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ishwarpuri. My question, I've asked a few people, and I guess a few from this crowd and maybe a few from outside. The question is around love and being pulled by your master. And by the way, I'm initiated by a different master, and I'm hoping I can get an answer from you because my master is so far away. The question is that I got initiated about a year ago, but the question is that I don't seem to have a pull from my master. And the other thing you were talking about love earlier today, some people I've talked to here and elsewhere too, it's like almost when they see a master, they're immediately pulled. They have a connection with the master. Whereas others, like you say, could meditate 30 years, that connection is not there. I mean, is there different forms of love, or am I on a different level of it? Or, like, I don't see an immediate connection.
Thank you very much for this good question. Yes, there is a difference in the way we define love. We are ourselves defining love differently. Love for a child is different. Love for a mother is different. Love for teacher is different. Love for property is different. Lustful love is different. Sex is different love. We have defined love in so many categories, and therefore we have put love into so many categories we don't know which one we are talking about. When it comes to love for the master, it is a true, pure spiritual love. The mind has no role in it at all. If the mind has to think, am I in love or not, it's not love. If the mind has to verify, is it love or not, it's a pure attachment. It's just like saying, I love you. Do you love me? You say, well, I don't. Well, okay, then I also hate you. Or, what have you done for me lately? I loved you so much. We make songs of these things. Love that is based upon an awareness of two people is not true love. A love where a person says, I love my master and I want to see if he has real that pull for me or not, has not experienced love yet. When love is experienced, the first thing that happens is that you begin to forget your own self. The mind, the area that is carrying your awareness is filled up with the beloved so much. You begin to think of the beloved so much that for a moment you don't know who are you, but you know who the beloved is. That's the first sign that there is a true love being experienced, even for a human being, not only for a master, for any love. Any love to be true puts the beloved first. Also, when you say, I love somebody, it's an egoistic function of the mind. Because I is so strong, ego is so strong. When you fall in love, you don't think like that I love you. Somebody is pulling you with love. There's a Persian couplet which appeals to me a lot. We describe this. Ishq, which means love. Ishq awwal dar dile mashuk paida mishavad, which means love is first born in the heart of the beloved. If there's no pull, there's no love. So love has been described as something in which you feel so identified with the beloved that you don't think too much of yourself. Otherwise, all activities that we are doing in life are based upon our ego. I did this, I tried that, I love so and so. That's all ego game, or mental game of the ego. When really you fall in love with somebody, you think of the beloved. That thought, I do this thing, start to disappear. So remember, this is one sign. Secondly, if the love has to come, it has to come from the beloved, from a master. You can't say, I found a master, I'm going to love him now. It doesn't work like that. If you say there is no pull, then the master's role is different than the role of taking you to your Sachkhand. Such a master's role is to give you teachings, instructions, take you part of the way, understanding intellectually, and then prepare you to be seen later on by a master who will pull you. Always happens like that. It's happened with so many people. I've had so many experiences with people who said, we are a succession of masters. There used to be a lady who used to come from New Jersey, and she said, every master I meet, I get initiated. Maybe one of them will be right. She was taking no chances. So she said, I don't care what is. One of them should be all right. I used to call her the much initiated woman. Later on, when my friendship circle was very small, when the circle became a bigger one, I found that there were so many people like that, including Mark, who is doing this recording. He says he's been to so many masters, initiated. So people have gone through the process. Even otherwise, our whole approach to spiritual realization comes through a series of teachers and series of masters. The first master that you come across is your own mother. Your mother is the first influence where you are born. She becomes your first master. Then there is a little role of the father, but more of the mother out of parents. But then you go to school teacher becomes a teacher. He puts ideas into your head. He puts a lot of things into your head. He puts language into your head. Then later on you go to a religion. They are classified into religion. When you are in religion, religion tells you things and conditions your mind for something more. Then you find none of these work. If you find none of these work, who is saying none of these work? Not the mind. Because the mind is following anything that's being taught. Then something in you says, this is not working, and this is not true, this is not what I wanted. That's the soul seeking inside. Then you come across spiritual masters. Spiritual masters take you to different levels up to where they have gone. No master can take you beyond where he is gone. But the way they will describe their experience is like they have reached Sachkhand, the true home. Because in these levels of creation, levels of our consciousness that is creating here, each level looks like final. Right now this world looks like final. You go to the astral plane, that looks like the ultimate. And there are so many expanded experiences in that area that each one looks like it is final. It's our Sachkhand, our true home. A master who has gone there will say, I am taking you to complete enlightenment. There are lots of masters like that. Then there are masters who go beyond that. They say, no, the mind still functions as an individuated function. In the astral plane, even in hell and heaven, you all individuals. Your consciousness is individuated. It's higher up. They take you to the second stage, the causal stage, Trikuti. They take you to the top of three worlds, where all destinies originate, where one single mind becomes universal mind. And knowing the mind and soul being the same, those masters say, that's universal mind, you have reached the top. They don't distinguish between soul and mind. They think that's the same thing, it's the self. Then there are some masters, very, very few, who have gone beyond the mind. And those who have gone beyond the mind realize that the mind was merely an attachment to consciousness. It's a conscious self using a mind. And their mind is not the self. They take you above, and they are called Sadhgurus, and they are called masters. They're listed amongst perfect living masters because they take you out of the mind's realm of reincarnation and so on. But then, still fewer. At one time, no more than the fingers of our hands. There are masters in this world for seekers who want to seek beyond that. They say, we don't even want that. We want the totality, total. And those few masters, perfect living masters, whom we call Satgurus, Sant Satgurus, they are the ones who take us beyond Parbrahm, beyond the individuated state of the soul, into totality and discover everything was only one. Master, student, world, everything you see is only one consciousness. The whole show is taking place in that consciousness. So there are so many masters. They take you through these phases and they satisfy each part separately. For example, there are masters in the psychic realm. They have got some psychic powers and they can use power of suggestion to fulfill some of your worldly desires. They are also masters, and because they can give you, they can say, okay, tomorrow you'll get a rise in your promotion, you'll get, your son will pass exam. And it does. So it must be a real true master, performing miracles. Those masters are satisfying something that's external experience of yours in this world. But those masters are only confined to physical experiences. Then there are masters who give you higher experiences. So as we come across these masters, we grow with it. Our seeking, even if the seeking is for the ultimate, we go through this process and see so many masters. But the master who ultimately pulls us, He may follow any of the rules of these others to draw your mind to the point where you're ready to go. But ultimately, the pull is of pure love. And the love pulls us in such a way that all the mind's doubts cannot overcome it. That you can try as hard as you like. No, I don't want to believe it. No, I don't want to believe it. I don't know why I want to go and see him. I can't convince myself yet. I haven't seen anything inside, but I want to go and see him. It's something so different. The mind's doubts, fears, and compulsions don't stop a person at that stage. And that comes finally. When that happens, of course, you not only have experience of higher realms, but eventually that master becomes your permanent friend forever and stays with you forever. You go within and you see. After you have seen him and had a contact with him for a while, what we call the radiant form of the master, you can see him outside also at any time. You're driving your car and you can just turn with your corner of the eye and see master sitting there next to you while you're driving. I mean, it becomes so visible at all levels, not only inner level. That's the experience we will have, the perfect living master. So if you find a master, like you say in your question, but you don't feel the pull, keep on seeking. Keep on seeking. If you're a seeker beyond that point, you will find. Or rather, the master will find you. He will pull you.